What's up my fellow jabronis, welcome to my favorite Pyro Faith build. This build focuses on comboing together fire type attacks such as the giant fireball, catch flame, and flaming strike, and then using fire buffs to maximize that flame damage. This build is near unstoppable in the 4 or 6 man colosseum modes, but can also be effective in close-up 1v1 engagements using flaming strike and the true perfect combo halberd into dagger. Hell yeah baby! So let's not waste any time and jump right into the details. As far as incantations go, we're using the Giant's Sacred Seal, so you can use any of the Giant's Flame spells, but the Giant's Flame Take Thee is basically all you need for ranged attacks. For real, this giant ball of raging fire will do anything you need it to. And hey, I mean anything. Wink wink. It's good at close, medium, and even far ranged. Get good at free aiming, and you can snipe turkeys from across the map. Second spell, Catch Flame. When enemies are invading your personal space, this spell will blow some of that nasty ass garlic breath of yours right in their face. It's great for mobility, catching people while rolling, and sometimes can combo together with your halberd. Last but not least, Flame Grant Me Strength. Of course. In PvP, this gives you 15% physical and 15% fire damage buff. So whenever you have a free chance while fighting, go ahead and use it. Now moving on to our weapons, after a lot of experimenting, I found that the Flame Art infused Banished Knight's Halberd using Flaming Strike to be the best fit for this build. Now you should know that usually Knight Rider Glaive is the best weapon to use with Flaming Strike on, but the Banished Halberd has such a low stat requirement, still does good damage, and it has a great moveset. I mean look at those stabby attacks baby, everyone loves R1 stabbies. Now real quick, something you need to know. Flaming Strike is not truly optimal on a Faith build. Technically, Flaming Strike is a bullet type weapon art and it scales with strength. Don't fucking ask me why, it just does, alright? And yet, Flaming Strike on my Flame Art infused halberd is still very strong on my Pyro Faith build here, considering we're getting over 30% fire damage boost from our buffs like Flame Grant Me Strength and the Flame Shrouded Cracked Tear. But in the end though, the weapon art is really up to you. Some other good choices are Giant Hunt or Piercing Fang, Sacred Ring of Light to scale with Faith, or even the Black Flame Tornado. Dude, yeah, I know, it is difficult to catch people in this tornado, but if you do, oh mama, you'll trap the enemy and do massive damage. Giant's Flame Sacred Seal for your incantations. And lastly, I like to keep a dagger handy. Urge Steel Dagger innately scales with Faith, so infuse it with Flame Art. Now this will allow you to perfect combo your halberd's R1 light attack into the dagger. It's useful to whip out and surprise people with, or in a 1v1 engagement. I'm wearing Omen Smirk helmet because it gives a +2 strength level and is very fashionable. I mean, just admit it dude, it is absolutely gorgeous. Like, I wish my girlfriend looked like that. Finally, for talismans, firstly, definitely use the Phlox Canvas talisman because those giant flame incantations are the star of the show here. Secondly, I like to use Shard of Alexander for my flaming strike. Now you can also use the Pierce Counter Talisman to increase the damage on our stabbies, then Erdtree Favor and Bull Goats. But if you find you're not using your weapon art skill that often, or you don't need such high poise, you can remove one of these talismans and use Radagon's icon instead. Can never go wrong with the Radagon icon when using spells. So it's up to you, any of these talismans will work well. Now finally, here are my stats. The main priorities here are having 60 Vigor, 18 to 20 Mind, and 60 Faith. I optimized this for level 125 using the Prophet class, but if your character level is higher than 125, try to increase your Faith up to 80. A level 80 Faith would be perfect. Next up, let me quickly give you some important combat tips for this build. I recommend free aiming the giant fireball. Once you get good at free aiming this spell, you really can start sniping turkeys from a distance, and it is very satisfying and definitely very annoying for your enemies. Now for our equipment, definitely hold some fire throw pots. They are quite useful to catch people trying to run away or mid-spell or whatever. Also, the uplifting aromatic is cool too if you got them. Gives a slight damage increase and a bubble shield protection for you and your team. Bubble boy for the win, baby.